Amazing work. Wow, what an amazing introduction. Thank you, Dean Littles. It's always such a pleasure to be back here on campus at FSU with my fellow Knowles, and it seems like every time I'm here, we're celebrating another major milestone in advancing our shared vision of leading the nation in genomic medicine. And we're here to celebrate another big leap in the right direction. We're celebrating the signing and the funding of HB 907, the Sunshine Genetics Act. It's truly a historic milestone that's giving Florida a once-in-a-generation opportunity to lead the nation in genetic and precision medicine. And it's formally codifying into statute the Florida Institute for Pediatric Rare Diseases. And so this bill really not only marks the beginning of the next generation in healthcare for Floridians, but it also ensures that the IPRD will go on to live longer than anybody here in this room. I want to start by expressing my sincere gratitude for my friends Senator Colleen Burton and Senator Jim Boyd, who were exceptionally gracious throughout the process as this legislation was moving. And equally as important, they were rock-solid partners in the Senate. Throughout the process, the bill received unanimous bipartisan approval in every committee stops. There were 7 committee stops in total to get this bill to the House and the Senate floor to be finally approved. And it was passed with dozens of co-sponsors. I want to thank Governor DeSantis, not just for signing the bill and approving the funding, but for his overall support of our mission of quickly diagnosing children and seeking cures for pediatric rare diseases. And of course, I must thank our amazing House Healthcare and House Education staff. As some of you know, that this was the first bill that I personally wrote from scratch. So they had the very challenging job of turning my ever-changing drafts into something that's actually actionable that people can vote on. And they had to put up with me over the last year or so as we worked together to get it right. And my wife Brianne and my oldest daughter Kaylee are here with me today. If you want a little flavor of what that was like over the last year and a half or so, feel free to ask them. I'm sure they're going to share some colorful stories of what it was like living with me as we were getting this done. But the truth is, a lot of people worked really hard to get this bill across the finish line. But the real work is just beginning now, and that would not be possible without the tireless dedication that I've seen from the folks here from the FSU College of Medicine, who will lead the newborn screening program statewide. So thank you, President McCullough, Provost Jim Clark, Vice President Patterson, Dean Littles, Dr. Bidet, Dr. Ledbetter, and the whole IPRD team. Your work today is providing hope to countless families, but it's just a matter of time before that hope is transformed into cures for rare diseases. People are often surprised to learn that there's as many as 10,000 known rare diseases that affect over 30 million people across the country. That's more than, or just about 10% of the population of our nation, but it's more than the population of the state of Florida, and 80% of these diseases are genetic in nature. People are often terrified to learn that it takes on average 4 to 5 years, plus 7 or more trips to specialists and overnight stays in a NICU to diagnose a child with a rare disease. And sadly, many of these children pass away before they receive any meaningful treatment at all. But the Sunshine Genetics Act solves that problem. It establishes an opt-in newborn screening program to offer whole genome sequencing at birth, free of charge, and ending the diagnostic odyssey for children who are born with genetic disorders. Today, our state newborn screening program screens for just 60 conditions, and only a handful of those are genetic. But this new program has the capability to screen for as many as 600 conditions that have actionable treatments, and that list is growing each and every day. Florida ranks #1 in the nation for higher education. We have some of the best universities in the country, and each of our top universities are working hard in their own unique way to advance genetic medicine in the state. But there's no formal mechanism for inter-university collaboration among our universities. The Sunshine Genetics Act solves that problem. It creates a national consortium that will be led by FSU, UF, USF, FIU, and Nicholas Children's Hospital, uniting our top universities, our top children's hospitals, and industry experts to collaborate and drive innovation and research to cure these complex diseases. Through our universities, Florida will lead the future of medicine. The genomic medicine industry is estimated to reach $100 billion in just a few short years. And right now, Florida only has a very, very tiny sliver of that industry. Right now, we're missing out on a huge opportunity for our state. But the Sunshine Genetics Act will solve that problem. Florida is now the first and only state in the nation to offer a newborn screening program that's this comprehensive. One that will attract the best talent in the industry, the most brilliant minds in medical research, and usher in the future of medicine to Florida. But most importantly, thanks to the work that's being done here at FSU, the Sunshine Genetics Act will save lives. Of course, we can't do this without the appropriate funding, and in a minute, I'll be presenting a big check for $7.5 million that will continue to fund the Institute and is what I consider seed money to launch the Sunshine Genetics pilot program. And we're going to continue to fight for additional funding to grow the program, but we can't do it alone. So today I'm calling on biotech firms and gene therapy firms, genetic medicine companies, and nonprofits throughout the country. Partner with us. Help us to fund this program. Help us to grow the program. Join the consortium. Be on the right side of medical history and help us bring whole genome sequencing to every newborn child statewide. So I'd like to invite up President McCullough, and we will present that big check.